guys, it's me Mabako. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog, and as you saw, I did go out today. It's apparently supposed to be like one of the nice hot days we're supposed to have this year, so I decided to take a full advantage of that and go to like a park near me and whatnot. It was quite nice, very beautiful. And I have also done some cleaning and whatnot today, and I have done some reading. I am currently reading Hacks by Thomas Old Huvit. Sorry if I butchered that name, but this is about this town called, right, this looked at the summary, oh my god, called Black Spring, where there is this witch. She's a witch, but it also seems like she's a ghost. Like, she is a witch who was like killed in the 1600s in witch trials, and it seems like she's getting revenge on the people of this town, as they thought that she brought her son back to life after he was supposed to have died from, I think it was smallpox, and they made her choose between killing her son or they would kill her daughter, and she did not have a choice, so she did kill her son. And then they essentially forced her to kill herself, which was yeah. But yeah, she does like walks around the town, like it's a pattern almost the way she walks around the town. She'll also enter your homes and watch you while you're sleeping and whatnot. Like, it's really creepy. And the people of this town, they can leave like temporary, like they can go into the city for a few hours or whatnot, but they can't leave for a longer period. Otherwise, like, I don't know, Gavin has this like spell influence on them that if they're far away from Black Spring for a long period of time, they will have this strong urge to kill themselves. And the longer they're further away, the stronger the urge becomes. So essentially, they're stuck. And this isn't like widely known, like outside the people of this town or the neighboring town, really, or well, not even that. I think it's kind of like quarantined into the town. Like, the council members of this town, they do everything in their power to prevent this from being leaked to the press. Like there's this strong, there's something called hacks, which is where the title comes from, and it's really like the system that monitors the people of the town. Like, there are security cameras everywhere to make sure people are doing good, and Wi-Fi is like controlled, like certain sites are blocked and whatnot. As well, when people come to town, they kind of like use the witch as like against this, like they will have festivals and be like, oh, kill the witch and whatnot. Like, they will kind of think like, oh, it's a joke, it's like, it's a fact, we have a history of witchcraft, you know, like nothing that serious. It's like they kind of use her. And if she is in the woods, and the woods are like an area where hikers outside of town will go, sometimes they will block it off. Like, the town is quarantined to prevent like the knowledge from being leaked to the wider known. And really, it's I guess the older people in the town who are stuck in an older mindset, like of this, like of everything bad and whatnot. Like the beliefs in this town is almost like Puritan, really. Like, it's like so old fashioned and whatnot. It's like kind of, in a way, a lot of the people are brainwashed. Like, they are taught to fear the witch, to just leave her alone. Like, it's something that's ingrained in you when you are in elementary school. And as well, I don't want to say this like a code, but it kind of gives a code vibe, because if you break one of the rules in this town, like massive break, they will send you to this place called Doodle Town, which is a bit away from Black Spring, and you're just supposed to like learn your lesson, like what you're not supposed to do, what the consequences are, like, because people are imprisoned in Doodle Town for I don't know how long, I guess. depends on the crime, they kind of like learn, like, they kind of have the feeling that they won't kill themselves because they are away from Black Spring. And the younger people in the town, like the teenagers, they try to capture evidence of Catherine and what she's doing. They try and just kind of perform experiments, seeing like and whatnot. And with that, that kind of gets out of hand very quickly when one of them, a boy named Jaden, he wants revenge because he does blame Catherine for a number of things. And yeah. And so far, I am liking this. I do like the idea. It's like the main issue isn't really the witch. Like the witch is this, they're like, but the witch is also being used as a reason for the behavior of the councilmen, the control they have over the town, and whatnot. And Catherine herself, I should say, she's not so innocent. Like she's not this innocent witch just walking around looking scary as heck with her eyes sewn shut, her lips sewn shut in chains. Like there is a reason. Like the reason her lips are sewn shut is because she will speak and it will just cause bad things to happen. Like even with her lips sewn shut, there is just a bit where it's like a bit of an opening, and she's still able to whisper, and even that has a lot of power. As well, you mess with her, it will cause consequences. Like there's a creek in town, and if you upset Catherine very strongly or very badly, it will turn bloody. Like the water will become blood and whatnot. So, yeah, it's just the control the people have, the fear they feel. Like people will leave sacrifices to Catherine. They will leave offerings. That's the word I was thinking of. And I've lost my train of thought. Damn it, I've spent the last couple of minutes trying to find it, but yeah, the people of the town was really fearing her, trying to hide from her, kind of like set in the ways, like this is how it should be, and yeah, it gives a kind of culty vibe in that regard, I guess. But otherwise, with this novel, like there are some things that's like a bit creepy, but I personally just don't feel like really connected with the writing, with the story. I don't really know if it's just. I think it is really that I'm just not really connecting with the writing style. Like there's something that's just not working for me personally, and yeah, and also I should say there is some language in here that is quite outdated. Like, yeah, that's all I have to say so far right now, and. Yeah, I know I am on page 216, and it looks like from so far things might be changing because one of the main characters, a boy named Tyler, he was the owner, I guess, of this website called Open Your Eyes, or OYE, which is like a place used to document proof about Catherine, to discuss her. Like, it's not, I don't think it was in the public domain. I think it was just like something that was just amongst the boys working. Like, they were trying to gather evidence to give to the media one day eventually. But something happened that caused Tyler to reveal everything to his father. And his father is gonna give everything to Hacks into the council, because the boys do have to face consequences for their actions. But he is making his son delete the evidence. I just realized what I just said. What I meant is Tyler recorded this clip of some of the other boys really trying to beat Catherine with his stick, try and push her into the creek, like to drown her, and then they stoned her. He recorded that whole thing, and I think in other instances, I'm not sure, but Tyler's father, Steve, who is one of the main characters, he's gonna give that to the council, have them do with it. But also, he's having Tyler destroy other evidence that could cause more problems for him. Like, in a way, he is trying to protect his own son, so yeah, I would say so far I am liking it, but I don't know, I'm not really like scared. It's like small. It's a story I think I've read before or seen previously. Like it's just, I don't know. I'm not very much scared, but yeah. But yeah, I think for the rest of the day, I'm just gonna do some more cleaning and whatnot. And sometime this week, I do need to film my wrap up, which will not be easy because I don't have the best memory. And I was writing down notes on the books I was reading. Annoyingly, I accidentally dropped my tablet and smashed the screen. The tablet still works, I can turn it on, but the issue is I cannot open the tablet, so yeah, and it's like, so I lost my notes, which is annoying just because I was writing on the notes app that came with it, which, but it is what it is, so yeah, and yeah, I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and I've just done some work and whatnot. I also just had some lunch, and I have done some reading of hacks. Now I'm on page 302, and so far I'm liking it. I'm on part 2, and there was a scene in here that's did spook me a bit. Like I was like this a bit horrified with it, and yeah. But to recap what I've read today. The boys who thought it was okay to stone Catherine and pay back for some of the things she did, they are caught. Like Tyler tells Hax what they did, and Hax went to the town council, and the town council, like, they want to punish these boys in a way that's, I don't even know, like, old-timely. But the town council, they have the people in town vote, and a lot of the people in town, therefore this punishment and whatnot. And this punishment is basically all of these boys will be flogged, if that's the right way to say it. And because 2 of them are under the age of 18, they'll only be flogged like 10 times, and the older one will be 20 times. And then they'll be sentenced to like 3 weeks in Judo Town, which is like, I guess, the solitary confinement that's supposed to just, I guess, harm you, wow. Psychology. Why can I not say that word? Oh my god. But yeah. And the town people, like, at the moment, a lot of them do vote for it. But when the punishment is being carried out, they realize how long it is. Like, they realize this, how long they are. But really, it's like, they only realize that when they see Catherine, like, she's standing on the balcony of the local inn, and it's like she's watching this, and it's like she is the center of attention. Like, it's like she's I guess the leader of this town. Like, she's the one who's in charge, and you know, that whole scene and the panic it causes, and people are making them realize like what they voted for was wrong, and as well, like they weren't even, I guess, not aware, but they didn't really know the reality of what they were voting for when they voted in favor of punishing the boys in the manner they're being punished. Like, I think in the sense that they were just so angry that they were blinded by that anger and rage. And yeah, and there's a part in here that was really interesting in a paragraph where Steve, when he's watching this whole happening, he's taken back to 1664 during Catherine's time, and this would have been like a bigger spectacle, because this whole thing's being treated like a flipping town event. Like, people are gathered in the square to watch the boys being flogged and punished, and like the town's being closed so that no outsiders can come in and see like what's happening in the town. And then when it's all over, it's like everyone's going back to 2012, like when this book's being taken place, and everything like back to normal. Like, people are just moving on with their day. And yeah, and later, like, or sometime later, this figure, they sneak into Tyler's women play like this recording of Catherine whispering in Tyler's ear over and over and over again, and it's like, is this one of the boys getting revenge on Tyler, or is it Drizda, who's the town butcher, getting revenge for what Tyler did, like telling the truth and kind of deleting evidence that also makes him guilty, like, because in part two that opens up with that scene that kind of horrified me, in the sense like we first get the aftermath, and then we see kind of the before, like Steve and Jocelyn come home and see what's happened, and we kind of get an idea of what exactly happened. But what happened is that Tyler, he takes this rope and he hangs himself and kills himself. But also something happens with Matt when there's these like mushrooms that grew out of the floorboard, and they form this like circle. It's like supposed to be this like magical circle around that, and it caused him some weird behavior. It caused him to eat the mushrooms, could some intestinal issues as well. He, for some reason, like, it's either he saw something so horrific or something else, but he chalked his eyes shut, and it's like so bad that they have to transplant a cornea in one of his eyes now. Or I might think he might be blind for life, essentially. It's like, that's what the absolute how, and it's like they think Catherine had something to do with it, because Catherine, she's just standing in front of Tyler's hanging body and she won't move. Like, they tried to move her by using brooms, and she just comes right back. So yeah, they believe she had something to do with Tyler's suicide as well. With this, like, her behavior changes, like the pattern that they know or to follow changes, because later that night she goes into Hacks and tries to attack Wappergrim, who is the leader of Hacks, really. Like, she corners him and starts whispering. He is plugging his ears and is like humming songs in one or trying to. But it's really just like him willing that's covering her whisperings, and yeah, the whole scene was horrific, and for some reason something has happened that caused Catherine to change her ways even momentarily. I didn't make notes on my phone. Let me just pull that up. And yeah, it's in the end. But yeah, a lot of things have happened, and some people, like, they now see Tyler a bit different afterwards, because during his funeral they're either making glosses or something toward of that eye of, oh, what was it? Some evil eye gesture? It's to protect themselves from the evil eye, because they think Tyler is now cursed. And yeah, it's just a lot of very horrific stuff, and everything is, I don't know. So with that part, it is interesting and it is horrific, and I'm very much intrigued in seeing what's gonna happen next, and how else like Catherine's pattern will change, like how not involved, but yeah. So yeah, I'm just very curious to see what will happen next, and if things will change, which I highly doubt it will, because I don't know, the town's council, like, it is actually mentioned that they are very conservative, so I think they would want to stick to the old ways, and they are very much trying to, from what we've just seen. So yeah. So yeah, I think for the rest of the day I'm gonna try and edit a bit of this vlog, and yeah. So it's the next day and I've just done some work and whatnot. I also had to get a root canal this morning, which is just as fun as you can imagine. I'm doing this update when I'm mostly like healed from it, when it's not so numb and hard to open my mouth really from it, but yeah. And I have also finished Text, and I like this actually. I like this a lot with the messaging thing. I should mention, like, I do like how after Tyler's funeral, people kind of go back to normal. Like the guilt they feel over their heads, like of what happened to the three boys. They don't handle it. They just want to move on with their lives, pretend it never really happened and whatnot. But what happened also might have caused Tyler's death. And his father, in a world of grief, and with this idea that by doing something he might be able to bring Tyler back. Like Steve is in full grief and he doesn't have regrets, but he just misses his son a lot. Like he loved his son a lot. And Steve does something that has this effect on people, and it changes things in this town. Like an example, a minor example, I would say, is that before the people would be able to leave town for like a few days, maybe a week. But now the second they step outside the town's borders, they have the feeling that they want to kill themselves and whatnot. But it's also affecting those on the outside of town, like outsiders. Like they try to do everything in their power to stay the heck away from Black Spring. It's not a vote, but there's like something in them that just drives them away from the town. So yeah, I didn't know. And also we see the rampage these people go on when, because they seem to be getting visions, or at least Steve does, I'm not entirely sure. But they are on a rampage. Like it is, I cannot remember the word or think of it. And it's a witch hunt essentially. Like they want to find who did this and bring them down. And if someone's like, that person did it, like pointing at Jaden, who is one of the perpetrators who stole Catherine, they attack him until someone tries to stop them, and they're hiding him. So yeah, and it's like these people are being sent back to 1665, 1666, really, like older time period, and the way they are behaving, like they're attacking each other, and it's this utter chaos. And it seems like that Catherine isn't doing this. Like it's the people themselves. Like she doesn't have a spell on them. She doesn't have influence in them. Like these people, they're doing it on their own free will. Like so, yeah. The ending was interesting as well. It seems like with the ending as well, history repeated itself, because whatever happened to the people of what was Black Spring, or at the time known as, I think, this Leak, and it seems to have happened again when the people just disappeared, but instead it's like everyone is dead, or there's like a mass suicide, really. And another event, it seems like another event might be repeating itself in something Steve does in the epilogue, which, yeah, I would have been curious to see, like if, oh my god, what am I trying to say, like if, let's say in 300 years, if these events are gonna repeat themselves again and again, if it's gonna be a cycle that never breaks. If the people in the future make the same mistake as people in, I guess, present day. So yeah, but otherwise I'm gonna give Hex 4 stars, so yeah. And my next read will be The Inheritance of Orchidia Divina by Zorada Cordova, which is about this family that has to come together when their monarch, Orchidia Divina, invites them to her funeral, and they hope to learn the secrets that she held on to so tightly their whole lives. And instead of learning the truth behind the secrets, Orchidia is transformed, leaving them with more questions than answers, and some time passed and her gifts have manifested in different ways for her family. granting them unexpected blessings, but soon a hidden figure begins to tear through their family tree. Seeking to destroy Arcadia's line and determined to save their family and uncover the truth behind their inheritance, they travel to Ecuador? To the place where Arcadia buried her secrets and broken promises, never looked back. So, yeah, I'm very much intrigued about that, but yeah. And it's the next day, and as you saw, I did go out. I had to just help my mom with some stuff in a town by the shoreline, and we just decided to just walk a bit, so yeah. And I have also done some other work, and I have done some reading of The Inheritance of Arcadia Divina. And I'm on page 70 currently, and so far I'm only 70 pages in, so yeah, but we do see Arcadia's relationship with we get the perspective of mainly her grandchildren. I don't really think we get perspectives from her children, and even then it's like 3 of the grandchildren so far away. Oh my, Marma, there was like a thing like saying how to pronounce the name that went over my head, and someone else I think was like Tinelli, and we see like how their relationship with their grandmother was quite complex. Like that grandma would hide stuff from them, like keep secrets, and as well she would tell them stories, and they thought they were just stories, like very imaginative stories that Arcadia would just come up with, but they would believe that they're real. And some of the other secrets like Arcadia would have was like what happened with Marma's mother. Like she didn't really have a big funeral. She didn't invite like the other members of the family for the funeral. That's why Marma doesn't really know her father. As well, Arcadia, since she came to her house in a town in Texas called Four Rivers, she seems to have just like laid down the house and stayed in that house for the rest of her life. Like she never left Four Rivers or that house, and it seems like until recently none of the family left as well. Like everyone stayed in this house, and slowly people left. So yeah, and we also like the part I just read like on page 7, we see like how Arcadia, she seems to be slowly like being transformed into a tree. Like she's just sitting in a chair, waist up, she looks normal, and then waist down, it's like tree. So that was very interesting. Yeah. And we are also a couple chapters kind of going back in time to Arcadia's childhood, seeing how she gained her magic, seeing her story, and seeing what led her to go to Four Rivers from Ecuador. In Arcadia, she was a bastard child. Like her mother got with someone, and as well, her mother's family seemed to not really want anything to do with her. Like they were extremely Catholic, and they abided by the Catholic ways. Like they basically cut off their daughter, and then besides like her Arcadia's grandmother giving her mother like some money behind her father's back, it seems like Isabella, Arcadia's mother, was on her own until she met Arcadia's stepfather. So I am curious to see how the relationship Arcadia has with her mother and her stepfather and everything, how that will change, because it seems like Orcadia did care for her mother, so we don't really get like that. Yeah, it seems like Orcadia, the marriage Isabella has to Orcadia's stepfather, it seems like it's turning a new leaf, like it's like allowing Isabella to move on with her life, to reconcile with her parents and whatnot, and it's like leaving Orcadia in the past, and like this dark history of Isabella that no one will want to talk about. Like Orcadia, she's basically excluded from the wedding. Like she was forced to give up her seat to her grandmother, and she was forced to watch her mother marry from a balcony. Like people forgot about her, so yeah. So far, I am liking it. I would like to see more of like, I guess like the magic Orcadia is supposed to possess, and if there was a reason that she stayed in that house for as long as she did, like she never left. So I'm curious about that, and to see if her magic will pass on to any of her descendants, which I think it will because it's in the synopsis. But yeah, so far I'm liking it, I guess, and I am liking the writing, so I find it quite easy. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I think I'm just gonna be doing some more work today, maybe some cleaning. So yeah. So it's the next day, and I have done some work. I filmed and edited my August wrap up because I'm not gonna have time tomorrow, which is Friday or Saturday. So yeah, I decided just to post on the last day of August, but yeah. And so I kind of lied about my review of The Inheritance of Arcadia Davina. I'm currently on page 132. So yeah, I think I'm close to halfway through. I am probably gonna finish this on September 1st, like with having 50 pages left if I've done my math correctly. But still, I'm gonna finish this. Yeah, I've dealt with that. I'm glad I looked over the footage because when I was talking about my September TBR or web, I accidentally hit the wrong button and I was like so zoomed in. Thankfully, it was only that clip, but yeah, that was funny. But yeah, I have done some reading of The Inheritance of Arcadia Davina. I'm on page 132, and I'm still very much liking it. I have to say one thing. I hated Miguel, who was like, I think the oldest alive son of Arcadia. She apparently had a son with her first husband, who the son sadly died. So, and Enrique, he just is so entitled. Like he wants the land that the house resides on. He's gonna tear that house down, build up something fancy. No, like he thinks he's gonna get the deed to the house. Like that's what he's gonna inherit until it's learned that it's actually Marma who's inheriting it. And yeah, he's absolutely awesome about that. Yeah, and we do kind of learn some bits of Orcadia's life. Like she's not able to tell the full truth before she dies, before she becomes like a actual tree animal. But she does mention she made a deal 48 years prior, and she called her family back to the house to try and lift the curse from them, so that he wouldn't find them or he wouldn't get to them. And we don't know who he is. She never was able to tell them the full truth. So yeah, I'm intrigued about that. I'm intrigued to see when or what this he is and then how Orcadia made this deal. Yeah, I mean, I have some other thoughts, and I did make notes on my phone. And oh yeah, how did I forget this? I just read this. I don't remember. I do like Tatinelli, who's one of Orcadia's, I think, children or grandchildren. Grandchildren it is. But she's supposed to be 6 months pregnant, so she's definitely not that. Like, I think it's much longer, but she goes into labor when Arcadia dies, and I kind of like that scene, like, and I'm intrigued to see if it's like Arcadia so will pass on to Tatinali's child. So yeah, that's also something I'm intrigued about, and I guess as well things have changed in his family, especially for Wayne, Tatinali, and Marma, because for and of course, I mean Tatinali's daughter, because for some reason the three of them they have like a flower. The four of them, my god, the four of them have a flower growing out of them, like either in their hand or in Tatinali's case her forehead. So yeah. But I'm still very much intrigued, and we still have a lot of questions and answers to, and yeah, so I have to feel sorry for Tatinali's husband Martin, because his family is so like, they're your average family, like they do things as it is. There's no like traditions, like no ancient family traditions and anything like that. Like he's just your normal guy, and he comes to this house and he sees like his grandmother-in-law, like half a tree. He has to deal with his wife's family. Like it's a bit much for him, and then seeing how Tatinali dies, and no, Tatinali, my god, how Arcadia dies, and as well with the fact that when Tatinali gave birth to their daughter, the flower like was on their daughter's forehead. So it's like I guess a mindfuck, or he's just going through a lot, so I have to feel pity for him. But yeah, so far I am liking it, and yeah. And I think for the rest of the day I'm just gonna be doing some more work. I do have to cut the grass today because, well, it's time, and yeah. So yeah, I'll see you when I see. So it's the next day, and I just got back from running some errands. Like had to take my mom to an appointment, and then we just went and did some groceries and whatnot. We also did walk a bit, but it was the same park I went to Sunday, so I just didn't come in. I just didn't simply want to. So yeah. But while I was waiting for my mother, I did read more of the Inheritance of Arcadio Divina, and now I'm on page 204. And I'm still liking this novel. Let me just pull up my notes just because I did do some more on myself. Let's see. Yes. Following Arcadia's death, there was a fire that destroyed the house, and Marma, she stays behind because she is now the owner of the deeds, or owner of the land, I should say, and she's staying on the land in a tent or in a shed, and she's just taking care of the debris, seeing what's salvageable and seeing what's not, and she is rebuilding the house and whatnot, and many years do go by until she hears this voice telling her to come to the door, and then we do go to Ray's, I guess, perspective of what he gets up to after he leaves Marma after 3 months staying with her and goes back to New York. He presumably did lose his job at that accounting firm he was working at because of what happened. Sorry about that jump. I got paranoid that I forgot to hit the record button for some reason. But yeah, we see as he initially is taking classes at this art school, which I don't think ever mentions he graduated. I think he just dropped out because he found the professors to be very boring and whatnot. And he does meet this man named Edward. And Ray does become a successful artist, but he almost sees Edward as like a protector of him. Like he knows Edward tells people not to touch him, to stay away from him. Like, and Edward, people like Marmon likes to tease Ray about the fact that Edward will spoil him. That Ray's essentially a sugar baby. When Ray seems to be quite successful on his own, but way, he often feels like he's the one on display because of the blossom on, I think it was his hand or his wrist, that people are drawn to. Like, people are very much intrigued about it, trying to touch it. Like, it's like they treat him like he's this other being. And there was a point where he mentions like he doesn't really belong anywhere, which I did find interesting, because he is a brown skinned man. So if he's in Europe, people are like, what is this person? And yeah, when he's like in South America, people are like, who are you? What are you? Just because he cannot speak English. Like, when he was in some country, I'm blanking out. I want to say Brazil or Argentina, for I could be wrong, but he was practically ridiculed in the newspaper because he couldn't speak Spanish and he used the wrong term. So yeah, and he, after like many years, like things of being normal, I guess, he starts seeing this man outside his apartment window, which shouldn't really happen considering he's on the 3rd floor. But yeah, he sees this man everywhere now, and he goes for this one when he like blacks out. Like, he ends up in the hospital, and when he's there, he learns that several members of his family have died, and that Tatiana is worried that someone's following her and her daughter. Why? I know. I it's like RHINANNON, something like that. Like, I don't know how to pronounce it. So my apologies. But she's paranoid. And yeah, all of them go back to what is now Marma's house to figure this out. And they do go to bury the dead. And I want to say it was Tatinali's like father. One of their family members wanted to be cremated and have his ashes spread in the river where Orcadia grew up. And they soon realized that if they want to get answers for anything that's happened, they will have to go back to Ecuador, to the town that Orcadia was born in, essentially. Because what they think is happening is that the person following them and kind of hunting their family is the same man who Orcadia made a bargain with. So yeah. And when they are in Ecuador, they meet up with Orcadia's youngest half-sister, who wasn't at the get-together many years prior. Like, she had to stay behind to take care of her father, and she's quite sketchy in a sense. Like, she just shows up when they have a hotel reservation, and she's like, "Oh, you're this relative." I honestly can't remember the name. That's how bad my memory is. She's like, "Oh, she called while your plane was in the air," and I'm like, "No, they're not staying at a hotel. They're family. I'm gonna pick them up, and they're staying with me in my house." And she says something when they do get to her house that kind of leaves a bad taste in Marima's mouth. She's like, "This is my home. I have no reason to leave." When Orcadia, she did have her home in Fall River, but she was forced kind of from her childhood home. And people do have homes, of course, but others don't. It's like, it's just knowing a previous conversation Marma had with her grandmother and with Cruz's perspective, what Anna Maria says this leaves a bad taste in Marma's mouth. So yeah, I am liking that. As well, we do see more of like Arcadia's life after she runs away to join the circus practically, and we see her kind of start this relationship with who I'm presuming is her first husband, a man who feels that he can be vulnerable, he can let his walls down alone. Orcadia, and we see the Divina part come into play because he sees her as his La Divina. He does call her that, And he also mentions how he and his father, they saw like what they saw, a falling star or shooting star, and when they went to look into it, there was a boy, and I guess it's like the boy is supposed to be was supposed to be the falling star or something like that. So yeah, that's very intriguing. I am curious to see if that goes somewhere. So yeah, but yeah, I am very much still curious about what exactly the bargain that Orcadia made was like. What is it like? What did you do to get her magic, and how is it affecting her family, and what exactly are these blossoms that have showed up on Wei, Marma, and Tatinali's daughter? Because for some reason with Marma, that blossom doesn't bloom at all. Like it's like a closed flower. So there's that. But yeah, I'm very much like this in the whole like magic mystery, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I'm just wondering why it's only affecting the two individuals and not like, I don't know, Uncle Enrique or something who seems to have also fallen into poor luck with him losing everything and whatnot. So yeah, I think my one con is that I would have liked to have seen more of the other I mean, how do you say his last name? Monteolas? And like how they've been feeling in the last 7 years. If it's only been like, why is it these four individuals? And I'm saying four because Tatinelli and her daughter are both being affected, and it's also like Tatinelli is seeing this man as well as her daughter. So it's like, why is it these individuals are seeing him? Like, oh, and I forgot to mention about Tatinelli's daughter is that she does seem to have the connection with Orcadia, because when no one else can really understand or hear what Orcadia is saying while she's in this tree form, Rihanna is able to, so... Or is it why? I don't know, but yeah. Like, she's able to understand Orcadia, which is intriguing. Like, I'm just wondering if it's also because, like, Orcadia did put her hand on Tatinelli's, like, pregnant belly or what, but yeah, so far I am liking it. And yeah, I think for the rest of the day I'm just gonna try and do some work and whatnot, so yeah, I'll see you when I see you. So it's the next day, and as you saw, I did go out. My mom and I just wanted to try and spend like the last couple warm days we're probably gonna have this year. Just go somewhere before we had to do some grocery shopping and whatnot. And we did go to a few seaside towns, which were very beautiful. And I did pass a library bookstore, and I did get Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen, which I believe is about this family who have particular gifts, and it makes them outsiders in their small North Carolina town, and their garden has a reputation for their history is in the soil, and so are their futures. And we do follow one of the girls in the family, Claire, who is a successful caterer, and she's preparing dishes made with her mystical plants. And Claire's sisters flees the town the moment she can, abandoning Claire as their own mother had years before. So yeah, it is really interesting, and yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about it. And I did go and walk on the boardwalk, which was beautiful, and I did stop into a couple of stores when that was this like very beautiful decorated. It was in a town called Niantic, Connecticut, and it was called Old Red Soda Box, and I did get this bracelet. And I also went into, I guess, this used books shop, and I did get a couple books. One I don't think they were supposed to really sell because it is an arc of the Book of Doors by Garth Brown. Like, don't think they were supposed to sell this, but yeah, and it's about this girl who works in a bookstore in New York City until one day one of her favorite customer dies and he leaves her a book and she has to go on an adventure with. And she is approached by this stranger in a black suit and she learns that the book in her possession is not the only book of great power, but it is the one most coveted by those who collect them. So now she's being hunted by people who want this book. So yeah, it does seem really interesting. And I also got This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal Il Motar and Max Gladstone. And I believe this is about these two individuals who they're on opposite sides of this war, and they were trying each other love letters so over like centuries or over time. This is really interesting. So yeah. And what else? Oh yeah. I also, when I was driving home, happened to stumble upon a flea market, and I did get two necklaces. This is the first one. Sorry if that was extremely close, but this one's flimsy. And this. But yeah, that's all of my adventures today. And besides that, I just did the grocery shopping and whatnot, like this mundane tasks. Like, I am also glad the weather was nice while I was out walking, because on my way to the shoreline and on my way back, it's gone cloudy. So, but yeah, since I've gone home, I have done some reading of The Inheritance of Arcadia Divina, and now I'm on page 260, and we do see more of this. We see Arcadia's relationship with her first husband, how he cheats on her on multiple occasions. He tries to dress her up and whatnot. And she also meets I think it's like it's called the Lonely Star, like this star that fell in a meteor shower that her husband and his father found, and they locked him up, they chained him. And we see how Arcadia first learns about him and meets him and whatnot. And we also see how kind of makes a deal with him or this star. Like, he wants to be set free. She wants power. She wants a piece of his power. She doesn't want a taste. She wants a piece of the power he has. So I guess that's the bargain she made, and that's because it seems like he's the one hunting her from him. He wants his powers back. Who, I'm not sure if it's more than that or what, but yeah, and it seems like Tatanelli and the family, like Tatanelli and and Mike, they both fall ill, and it's like an illness that the doctors can't really understand. Like with Tatanelli, the doctors think it's thyroid illness of some sort, I think it was. But her blood cells come back normal, and with Mike, he has like these sprout things growing on him, and grasshoppers come out. And yeah, like Tatanai is able to survive her illness, but Mike isn't. But also, we learn exactly the kind of relationship in family after Arcadia left. It seems like her mother was full of regrets, and she did try at one point to reconcile with her daughter who there was a fire at the circus and her daughter was presumed dead, even though they never found the body. And yeah, a lot of stuff has happened, so yeah. I'm still very much in liking it. I don't know, I think for me what I'm liking the most is seeing like the complex relationships people have with their families. Because family is not a simple thing most of the time as well. Seeing like how, despite Wei is very successful in his art, Tatiana is just fine being a normal, mundane woman. Like, all she wants is just a family, and she has her child, so yeah, nice. So, yeah, so far, enjoying it, and I think this will be the end of this vlog. Yeah, it is a Saturday, so yeah. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below telling me what you've been up to recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel, and if you want to follow me on any social media, all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time I post a video.